morning and welcome to Market Opening on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today TV just after 9, and we focus on the markets as they kickstart trading for the day. Let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space this morning. The big decision day for the Reserve Bank of India. Should it cut or hold interest rates? Members face a dilemma with inflation down, growth on a decent path but facing tariff headwinds. Majority of economists polled by Informist say rates are likely to remain on hold. It's the season of mega IPOs. LG India joins the public issue party. The consumer electronics major's 11,000 crore IPO to open on 7th October, just a day after Tata Capital's maiden issue. The fully offer for sale issue will see the Korean parent sell nearly 15% of its stake in the company. Make in India takes flight as Tata's, Adani's, L&T join the race to build the 5th generation fighter jets. Total of 7 Indian companies, including HAL, Bharat Forge and BEL, submit bids to partner DRDO for the 15,000 crore rupee Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft project. Tata Motors splits into 2 companies from today, one for passenger vehicles and the other for commercial vehicles. Shareholders to get 1 share of the commercial vehicle company for every share they currently own in Tata Motors. The company will be listed in stock exchanges next month. US triggers shutdown plans as Trump administration fails to reach a budget deal with the opposition. Democrats. Government offices and services in the US will begin shutting down just minutes from now. Essential workers like soldiers will work without pay, while as many as 750,000 non-essential federal employees are set to be furloughed. All right, let's take a look at the market setup. Let's start with the overnight cues that we're tracking. Of course, the US heading for a shutdown, with a government shutdown with a lack of agreement, as we just spoke about. Let's take a look at the indices and how they shaped up amidst all of the latest news coming in on the political front and continued news on the tariff front as well. Just steady on the indices, no major reaction on the markets. S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow all closing in the green. Let's take a look at Asia this morning as well and see how we are placed ahead of opening just in about a few minutes from now. Those are the tech shares overnight, of course, a slightly mixed bag coming in there. But let's pull up the Asia numbers for you as well. On your screen there, Hang Seng Shanghai Kospi all in the green, and Nikkei the only one who's consistently seeing a little bit of selling pressure coming in on recent economic data as well. The Nifty this morning are set for a flat start, but still slightly skewed towards the green. Let's also go across to Shailendra Bhatnagar, who's joining us, our Chief Analyst Editor, Markets. Shail, good morning as always. We've been watching this trend. While markets have not been in any rush to kind of run away, they are still holding forth a slightly positive bias. We're also, of course, waiting and watching for the RBI meet today.
Absolutely, Abha. It's in suspended animation. I can't remember any Navratri in which all 9 days we've seen the Nifty falling in the last 20-25 years that I have been tracking the index. More importantly, 830 points have been lost in the last 9 odd sessions, and at this level, near 200-day DMA, the probability of a short working now is slightly less. So I'm looking for a reversal. Strong moves coming into PSU banks, strong moves coming into metal counters. Some part of defense is clicking. So some part of the market is in a bull phase, but large parts are weakening. The FI net sales for September are 24,000 in the last 9 sessions and 35,000 crores in overall September. So it's not looking good as far as bulls are concerned. But given the fact that for 9 days we've fallen, I look forward to a reversal. Auto numbers coming in today. Banks in top form ahead of the MPC meet, and of course a fresh start for October. Abha.
Absolutely. Shail, there are also some suggestions on the expiry norms for FPIs. Run us through that and what this really means for retail investors.
Abha, two very interesting developments. From now on, from October 13th, you will see the daily expiry of the Nifty happening in the gift Nifty space for foreign institutional investors and NRIs. In our case, retail is not allowed as yet, but mark my words, the weekly expiry of the Nifty is also going away. And in 6 months' time, you will see domestic brokers forming a route into the gift city and allowing Indian retailers to trade the Nifty daily. I really don't know what the regulators are thinking. First, they cut down on weekly expiry so that speculation is reduced, and now they open daily options. So it's a little cagey, but I'm looking forward to this change. And for people who want to play long for a short period and short for a long period, the daily expiry is something that is an amazing product.
All right, so we'll talk more about that and decode it for some of our viewers a little later. But right now, let's also take you through some of the other stocks in news. We've got Adani Enterprises. It's Navi Mumbai Airport receiving a license from the DGCA. So, and remember, Adani Enterprises and some of the other Adani stocks like the power continue to be in focus. So this one in the news today, Adani Total Gas, the CFO Parag Parikh has resigned. So that's a little bit of HR news coming in there. Executive shift at Adani Total Gas. HDFC Life Insurance, they're going to consider raising funds via bonds on October 15th. That one's going to be in the news. Lupin has gotten a US FDA approval for ANDA. That's a new drug that they're looking at as well. And RITES has signed an MOU with Etihad Rail for mobility project. So a whole host of varied news coming in this morning across some of these counters. Talking about executive shifts, TCS, Sudeep Kunumal is going to be taking over as CHRO from October 1st. So that's the news coming in there on TCS. And Tata Motors, of course, we're going to be tracking for you this morning on the demerger. So lots of action coming in there across the board. Shail, what do you think? And just as we count down to opening bell, as you said, now after 8-9 days, and sure, while we've been talking about festive sentiment, some of the data and the kind of pullout that we're seeing on the FI front isn't looking so great. Do you think that there's a trigger that markets are waiting for at this point? Is it some kind of a lull, some kind of wait and watch mode? From what we're hearing, even the RBI may be on pause mode right now.
Absolutely, Abha. You've had 100 basis points of rate cut between February and September that needs to seep into the broader economy. So a pause as far as the RBI is concerned. And of course, PSU banks taking it away, metals taking it away. We have the opening for you, Abha.
Absolutely. Nifty's up about 0.2%. Remember, every morning, actually, we've been kicking off with just a touch of green. But a little bit of selling pressure coming in by the end of the day. Nifty Bank is steady this morning ahead of the RBI meet. A lot of focus will continue to be there, and on the PSU names in particular. So a little bit of profit booking perhaps coming in on the PSU Bank index this morning. Otherwise, it's been actually a center of attraction over the last few weeks. Nifty Pharma today is looking good. Let's pull up some of the movers there. Lupin, of course, getting that USA NDA approval. We've got Zydus and Sterling Biotech also looking at extending their deal closing date. So a couple of movers in pharma, but we'll pull up Sun Pharma is also up about 2.5%. Perhaps some easing off of those tariff concerns for Sun. M&M's looking good. Shriram Finance is in the news today as well, and that one's buzzing up about 2.5%. Bajaj Auto, Dr. Reddy's, HCL Tech. So a nice mixed bag coming in there on opening trade. Tech is participating, Reliance is participating, as we can see so far. On the downside, BEL just taking a bit of a breather. Otherwise, order news has been coming in thick and fast. And so it seems, even with the Zomato or Eternal, as we call it, taking a little bit of a break today. Some of the other financials as well, Bajaj Fin, SBI Life, taking a bit of a breather as well. And some of the other names there on the downside. Very marginal downticks at this point of time. What's standing out to you, Shail, on opening?
Abha, you nailed it. Shriram Finance. There is an interest shown by Japan's financial institution MUFG to buy out the company in various stages. The stock itself is bouncing from its 200-day moving average, and now a top performer, 2.9% higher, against the backdrop of a weakening market, especially in the financial services space, and more importantly, Pfizer. There's a deal that's happened in the US on Pfizer, and Pfizer's just started off the block with very, very heavy volumes. 37,000 traded in the first 2 minutes, and the stock itself is up 6%. Yesterday it rose 3%. So these two are the stocks looking at.
Shriram Finance, MUFG in talks to buy 20% stake, and that's for $2.6 billion as reported by news this morning. Let's go across and welcome in Sharad Awasthi as well, joining us from Smiths. Sharad, good morning. Let me first get the market set up from you and what you're looking at when it comes to the index. Are you also a little perturbed by those 8-9 days of a slow trade, bit of shaving off on the index? Are you still positive on the overall festive sentiment?
Yeah, good morning. While I'm positive on the festive sentiment, I think maybe because of this announcement phase and everything, happening on 15th August, maybe this quarter will not see the full impact. And, Eastern India usually has a bullish time around the Durga Pujas and Navratris. But the full-blown India festival demand would play out pre-Diwali. So I think next quarter probably would actually capture the real sense of how the festive demand is going to look like. This quarter, we will only get a glimpse of it, the last 5-10 days, maybe because of the GST cut announcement, you would see more of the hype. But next quarter onwards, I think even monthly data should be very positive. So long term, I'm very positive. Medium term, yeah, maybe because of the tariff tantrum going on and we not being able to, get through a deal or something on that part. I think that is the nervousness that is kicking in. But yeah, I certainly think with the rate cycle being lower in the US, we might also be looking at some rate cuts during the calendar year. So I think it's a very positive setup in terms of consumption, in terms of rate setups. The capex boost is being pushed into. So yeah, medium to long term, I'm positive. Maybe short term, 1 month, 30 days. Yeah, that might be a period where you might be more or less range bound.
All right, I'm going to come back to you on specific stocks, Sharad, but just to mark silver and gold, Shail, this is something we seem to have to do every single day because continuing to see record highs on those precious metals.
Absolutely, Abha. I can't tell you the way silver and gold are moving. Silver now up 1.23%. 1,43,863 is the fresh value for 1 kilo of silver. Gold at 1,15,866. And I have no surprise in telling you that Muthoot Finance and Manappuram are in top shape. Maybe Sharad can offer his views on Manappuram. Abha.
Yes. Sharad, please take it away. And, lots of interest in those gold financiers at this point of time.
Yeah, I think a typical cycle has played out around 2-3 years ago. No one was willing to look at them. They have played out very nicely with the cycle. But Shail rightly pointed out, I think Manappuram is a great bet to have even at these valuations. It's not at all stretched. Muthoot might be at peak valuation, so leaving very little on the table. But Manappuram, I think, still has a lot of pathway to catch up. The change in management also helps. So I think Manappuram is something I would still want to bet on. Muthoot might be fairly squarely priced. You might get market-linked returns, but Manappuram still has some way to go. We are trading at about 2.5 times price to book. So I think that is one stock within the gold finance space that can still go up from current levels.
Okay, let's keep an eye on both Manappuram and Muthoot. Let's also take a look at their weekly, monthly charts. And I think, Shail, you have some interesting data coming in as well on Muthoot. Take us through that. Apparently, it's pretty stocked up on gold.
Absolutely, Abhay. It's very difficult to imagine, but it's the absolute truth. 209 tons of gold is in the safe deposit boxes of Muthoot Finance. It is 3 times the gold reserves that Pakistan has. Muthoot Finance has more gold than Brazil, more gold than Australia, wow, and more gold than South Africa. Can you actually believe this?
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, Sharad, moving on to another financier, Shriram Finance, in the news this morning on deal buzz, and quite a hefty one at that for 20% of the company. Have you taken a look at Shriram Finance lately?
Yeah, I think in terms of valuation, it looks like a decent bet. You're trading at what, 2.1, 2.2 times price to book. So in case a deal happens, most deals of this quantum usually happen at a premium to current valuations. And with the big international name coming in, I think it also addresses some of the concerns. So the group particularly is very strong. But I think the type of retail push, etc., that can go ahead now could be much stronger. So yeah, it seems like a good bet with the deal going through. You can easily look at price to book multiples of 3, and forward growth numbers would be much better. So at least, 30-40% appreciation from current levels is very much possible on Shriram Finance.
All right, that's on Shriram Finance this morning. Sharad, I'm also going to get your view on Tata Motors because, of course, the demerger taking place. We'll, of course, see two separate entities now. Just want to get your perspective on what this will mean for a retail investor, just to reassure them. Of course, they're going to get, one share of the other entity as well. But just your view on Tata Motors, how the demerger is likely to play out.
See, generally on the consolidated entity, I'm very positive. I think it's a great business to have at these valuations. If you look at the whole auto pack, probably this is the cheapest that is available to you. With due respect to the fact that a lot of the profit still comes from the JLR venture, which will not get the premium valuations that typical Indian passenger vehicles get. But if you look at the way the whole company is transitioning, the recent acquisition, PV, CV, both should do very well. So I'm very bullish on the whole setup, and I think usually demergers have always given you very good options. So I'm looking at again something like a target for the console entity. We were looking at somewhere around 900, 950 as a conservative target to start with, trading at 15x. So I think, yeah, it has one of the most decent upsides within the auto plays after this recent run up that we have seen. So I'm very bullish on the whole space.
All right. Just quickly to touch on, some of the macro data, we did see the center's deficit widen this time around. Tax collections contracting, but capex actually surging at this point of time. We're also watching out for the RBI meet today. And while we're seeing overall India debt move up, the debt to GDP ratio has actually eased. So fundamentals remain more or less intact. Credit growth has shown some signs of moderation. Non-food credit expanded, but reflected some amount of cautious ahead of festive season. Just a quick run through of some of that key data that came in late yesterday, and also now watching out for the RBI move today. And ahead of that, Shail, a lot of those PSU banking counters are continuing to remain in focus.
Absolutely, Abha. Very, very deep value in PSU banks. And of course, this time credit growth in PSU banks exceeded those of private banks. Valuations are, of course, much, much lower. Some of them available below book. So this is a time of caution. The reason why I say this is in the last 3-4 sessions, many of these banks have gone up by about 5, 7, 8% in the face of a broader market which is down. So a bit of caution on PSU banks, but Sharad is the best guy to answer on Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank. Maybe he can offer a view, Abha.
Sharad, we'll love your view on some of those banking names.
Yeah, I think around 2 weeks ago or three weeks ago, we had spoken and we were talking about probably PSU banks outperforming. So I think, yeah, the treasury piece should also fall in place, advances, etc. The preliminary numbers that have come in from some NBFCs, Hudco, etc., seem to be enterprising. And I think the next quarter onwards, those numbers should look very well with the NBFC relaxation also kicking in. So yeah, I'm very positive on the whole space, and the PSU bank should ride this wave. The retail focus is strong. As Shail rightly pointed out, valuations are attractive. So, if the winds start improving in favor for these banks, you could easily look at a price to book multiple of 1.3 to 1.5 across the board for most of them. I think barring SBI, even the top three other banks don't really trade at that kind of valuations. So, on average, I'm expecting 30 to 50% kind of improvement across these banks. Even if you look at the larger names, Canara Bank, PNB, BOB, all three look very well poised to move that. Obviously, SBI will lead, but I think these three banks could also offer you very decent upside from current levels.
All right, Sharad, Shail, thank you both for joining us and taking us through some some of those major stocks in news this morning. Just want to touch on a few more Adani Group names. Let's just pull them up for you. Remember, we've got Adani Enterprises with the Navi Mumbai Airport receiving a license from the DGCA. But some of the other group stocks are also in action. Adani Power once again moving up nicely. Adani Green also looking quite good today. So quite a bit of action on those Adani stocks right now. I just want to touch on the OMCs to see if any impact on the LPG price hike as well as the jet fuel price hike that's come in. Let's just quickly pull those up and just see if there's been any reaction on the OMC counters. So a couple of these pockets just touching upon, but keep an eye on Adani Group names through the trading session as well. We'll also be counting down to the RBI meet and to see what kind of impact comes in on the back of that. And keep an eye on PSU banks as we count down and await the RBI commentary. That's all we could pack into the show for now. Thanks so much for watching and do stay tuned and join us again at Market Closing.